Welcome into Brownfield Ag News here from the 2024 Iowa Pork Congress. I'm Brownfield Anchor Reporter Brent Barnett, and we're talking with our friends at Elanco today to learn about Skycis. And joining us now here at the Elanco booth is Breanna Thompson, Swine Marketing Brand Manager with Elanco. Breanna, thanks for joining us here. How are you doing today?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Let's learn more about your role with Elanco and just some of the work that you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started with Elanco in June of 2023, and I am a U.S. Swine Marketing Brand Manager covering both our enteric and productivity portfolios. So that includes anything from Skycis to Denigard to Covalt, and working closely with our account managers and producers on strategy moving forward and getting products in their hands.
Well, we're eager to learn more about Skycis today. For the listeners, just might tell them a little bit more about Skycis and what we're hitting on here.
Yep, absolutely. So Skycis was launched in 2012, and it is a part of our productivity portfolio. So Skycis is an ionophore, which may not be new to many viewers or listeners. So the molecule there is narracin, and when fed at 13.6 grams per ton at least 4 weeks, it is labeled for increased average daily gain. And so as you think about that from a producer standpoint, just how do you continue to be more productive and efficient, really a great tool to put in their hands.
Well, certainly, the markets have been challenging. They were throughout 2023. Does Skycis add value back to producers?
Yep. Yeah, that's a great question, and certainly understand that markets, especially today, have been extremely challenging for producers, and that's one thing that makes us extremely excited about Skycis is, so as mentioned, launched in 2012. We have studies from 2013 to 2021, so 21 studies that measure the responses of average daily gain, improved feed conversion, as well as carcass yield. And across those trials, we measured a 1.4% improvement in average daily gain, a 1.4% improvement in feed conversion, and a 0.31% improvement in carcass response. So I do want to note there that the 13.6 grams per ton when fed at 4 consecutive weeks is solely labeled for increased daily gain. However, those trials is where we did see those responses.
Breanna, can you talk about whether Skycis is more beneficial for producers to use in the summer, or is this something that should be utilized year-round?
Yeah, so that's a very common question that we get from producers as far as when to implement or continue to utilize Skycis. When you think about the K-State meta-analysis, we saw increased benefits when fed for over 65 days. So as you think back to whether you should feed seasonally or full year, you're going to see increased benefits as you think about just full year implementation. And we have many producers that do that today and are very successful with it.
What are some other feeding considerations that have shown to increase performance?
Yeah, that's a good question as well. So when you think about just improved performance, as noted, anytime you feed that at a 13.6 grams per ton, you're going to see improved average daily gain. Another thing that's good to note about Skycis is regardless of diet type, we've always seen a favorable response with Skycis. So from a producer standpoint, regardless of what diets you may have implemented, Skycis is going to be beneficial.
Sure. Now, can you discuss the importance of managing weight variation and just kind of the impacts there on how that could impact profitability?
Yep. So a lot of times you'll hear producers talking about that bottom end or lower weight cut, and we've seen Skycis really benefit that group of pigs specifically. So in those K-State meta-analysis trials, we did see a 9-pound performance improvement when you think about that bottom end or lower end. So when you think about hitting the grid, Skycis is really going to help bring that added value as well.
Breanna, is Skycis safe to use for producers, and what steps have you taken to ensure that?
Mm-hmm. So one of the things that's important to keep in mind when you are thinking about implementing or continuing implementation of Skycis is its interaction and toxicity with tianulin. So a lot of producers may be familiar with Denigard LC or Denigard premix in their feed. So that's one thing that, as far as just considerations and things to keep in mind when using Skycis, is what else you may be feeding, and tianulin is really one of those areas of focus. However, with that said, this past fall we did fully implement microtracers into Skycis. So that's a essentially iron particle that is coated with a food grade dye, and that allows producers to better manage, one, how much Skycis they have in the feed, as well as determining is Skycis in the feed or not. So if you have more questions or would like to utilize those rotary detector kits for micro tracers in Skycis, feel free to reach out to your local Elanco representative. But really excited about that being an additional tool and resource for producers as they navigate what they currently have in their feed program.
Well, thanks a lot for coming on here and talking about Skycis. Now, if producers have questions, again, what's the best avenue for them to get more information?
Yes, I'd say one of the best avenues is to contact your local Elanco account manager, and they'd be happy to assist as well as point you in the right direction.
Thanks a lot for joining us here on the program today.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. Again, that's Breanna Thompson, Swine Marketing Brand Manager with Elanco here at the Elanco booth at 2024 Iowa Pork Congress. I'm Brent Barnett with Brownfield.